Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. 28-year-old businessman killed in Mandeville crash. A businessman died as a result of injuries he sustained in a two-vehicle crash on Greenville Road in Mandeville on Sunday night. The deceased has been identified by the police as 28-year-old Lorne Powell, while friends identified him as Lance. He is from George Reed District in Manchester. Police reports are that about 8:30 p.m., Paul was driving a Toyota Isis motor car on the roadway when it collided with a Honda Civic motor car, which was traveling in the opposite direction. Police say the drivers of both vehicles were taken to hospital, where Paul was pronounced dead. The other driver was admitted. Relatives of another man involved in the accident told reporters that he was a passenger in Paul's car and has been hospitalized following the crash. Westmoreland wanted man surrenders to police. Westmoreland wanted man, Devani Santa Bennett, has turned himself into the police Monday morning. Senior Superintendent Robert Garden, commanding officer for the Westmoreland Police Division, reported that Bennett surrendered himself with a pastor. Bennett was wanted for the murder of Clovis Forrester, Ayla's brother, committed on Tuesday, November 30, 2021, about 6 p.m. in Buffields in the parish. Bennett is associated with the Delete Squad in Savannah Lamar and an associate of Moses Ramsey and Andre Hines Ayla's Bunny. Hines was killed by the police in Buffields on February 12. The police had ordered that Ramsey and Bennett turn themselves in by 12 noon on Monday. Jashi Dane Ray escaped with warning for not wearing mask. Dancehall entertainer Jashi and popular producer Dane Ray escaped with just warnings when they appeared before a parish court judge in Santa Cruz on Monday to answer to charges under the Disaster Risk Management Act, DRMA, stemming from a New Year's Eve event. Both musicians pleaded guilty to a charge of not wearing masks before being admonished by the parish court judge, attorney at law Thomas Levine, who represented both of them. Levine submitted that Joshi was summoned for his motor vehicle at the time of the police observed that he wasn't wearing a mask. He said a similar submission was made for Waldine Hampton, more popularly known as Dane Ray, resulting in both men being admonished and discharged. On December 31st, both men were arrested at an illegal party in Leeds, St. Elizabeth. According to the DRMA, a person in breach is liable to a maximum fine of $1 million or to imprisonment not exceeding 1 year. Last year, there were complaints that people were being fined up to $200,000 for not wearing masks, which was criticized as being excessive. Minister Hall breaks silence. Embattled entertainer Minister Marian Hall, former Lady Saul, says she is not abandoning her ministry, but transferring it from platforms Facebook and Instagram. I would never turn my back on God. I would never walk away from my calling so that the devil can rejoice. I'm just stepping away from Facebook and Instagram because they just pollute with the devil's activity, Minister Marian Hall reported in an interview over the weekend. I have monetized my YouTube page, and that's where I'm going to be, she continued. According to the former top-tier dancehall DJ turned gospel artist, the comments on Facebook and Instagram are oftentimes distracting and at times toxic. I believe those two platforms are where the devil resides. I will only accept prayers from people who love the Lord and know this is God's doing, she said. Last Tuesday, Minister Hall sent social media in a frenzy when she announced on Instagram that she would be discontinuing her online ministry. To all Christians and non-Christians who've been coming up against me and my ministry, congratulations on your mission to take me down. You successfully done so, she wrote. I've decided to walk away from my calling and will no longer be doing any preaching on any social media platform. May the Lord forgive me, continued Hall, who recently has been dressing with more flair since her 2015 conversion to Christianity. Her post came roughly 2 weeks after a virtual war of words among Minister Hall and heirs apparent in the dancehall space Spice, Shensia, Aishana, and Jada Kingdom, following the former dancehall artist's claim that the females were in a race to hell. In her sermon on Sunday on social media, Hall said she was recruiting females of dancehall for Christ, irrespective of the fight she was getting. They don't have to strip themselves down. They don't have to do this. I never go through all of this. They are going too far, she reported. Minister Hall also used the opportunity to set the record straight about a media report that her house would be sold for no less than $60 million to recover $3 million in damages for a 68-year-old woman who was bitten by dogs in September 2020. Firstly, I was in the United States for 6 months when the incident took place. I did not hire the lady, said the Grammy-winning entertainer. Also, I have been trying to sell the house for some time, 4 years. It was previously listed by retailers for $75 million. I want it sold. You think I'm going to have a problem over a house? I say, sell it, she added. Hailing from Galena in St. Mary, Minister Hall single-handedly came, saw and conquered the dancehall game before leaving it all behind to walk the straight and narrow. Her career spanned more than 25 years. She is the first female DJ to be certified as a triple platinum artist and to win a coveted Grammy Award. The award came in 2004 for her song Underneath It All with American rock star band No Doubt. Careful you don't rent your house to scammers, warned St. Mary police. Alleging that several lottery scammers are seeking refuge in St. Mary, head of the police division in the parish superintendent Bobette Morgan Simpson has appealed to property owners to be wary of people seeking houses to rent. What we find is that there are a lot of scammers in St. Mary, Morgan Simpson disclosed at a meeting of the St. Mary Municipal Corporation Thursday, noting that her officers had recently apprehended 2 alleged scammers who both were now before the court. We have been doing coordinated roadblocks across the parish and they have been bearing fruit. Last week we actually arrested 2 men who were found with lead sheets. Based on certain things, their phones were requested and we found that they were lead sheets in their phones with persons from overseas, she said. Superintendent Morgan Simpson cautioned that heightening police operations, such as zones of special operations (ZOZO), have formed many criminals to flee parishes known to have a reputation for scamming. The ZOZOs that are going on in other parishes push out the criminals, and they are trying to find softer parishes to go to, and St. Mary is one of those parishes that they have selected to be their alternative area of residence, the senior crime fighter added. She warned that these arriving scammers are opting to rent properties, sometimes from unsuspecting people who can become victims of serious crimes. They have money, they will dangle the carrot, and people will be willing to rent these persons, but you really don't know what is going on behind closed doors, Morgan Simpson declared. You have to be very careful of who you rent your property to. Remember that when they buck one another foot, which is when the money is not shared properly and something goes wrong and they are going to take revenge, they don't care who is present. They just go ahead and do what they believe they have to do or they want to do, warned Morgan Simpson. 109 COVID cases, 11 more deaths. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 109 new COVID-19 cases and 11 more deaths on Sunday, bringing the infection total to 127,163 and total deaths to 2,750. The new cases comprise 60 females and 49 males, with ages ranging from 4 months to 92 years. The cases are recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew 32, St. Catherine 21, St. Anne 11, St. James 10, Westmoreland 9, St. Elizabeth 7, Trelawney 5, Manchester 4, Hanover and St. Thomas 3 each, and Clarendon and St. Mary 2 each. Portland was the only parish to record 0 cases. The deceased are a 70-year-old male, an 85-year-old male, a 63-year-old female, and a 53-year-old female, all from St. James. Additionally, a 65-year-old female, 85-year-old female, 93-year-old female, and a 76-year-old male, all from St. Catherine, were among the deceased. Also, a 95-year-old male, a 92-year-old male, and an 89-year-old female, all hailing from Westmoreland, also died. The deaths occurred between August 2021 and February 2022. There were 193 recoveries in the last 24 hours, bringing that total to 73,461. Currently, 323 people are hospitalized, 39 of which are severely ill, while 16 are critically ill and 59 are moderately ill. The Health Ministry reported a 15% positivity rate in the latest round of testing. Jamaica welcomes Disability Act, Digital Foundation CEO speaks on impact of legislation. Jamaicans with special needs should be feeling the love as the long-awaited Disabilities Act comes into effect on Valentine's Day, February 14. The Act, which was passed in 2014, will bring into effect legislation which protects and promotes equal rights for the disabled and prohibits discrimination against them. The Digital Foundation, who has been partnering with the Jamaica Council of Persons with Disabilities, JCPD, and the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, MLSS, to promote the need for legislative action since the passing of the Disabled Act, recently held a virtual conference on special needs under the theme Overcoming Challenges to Workplace Inclusion. The regulations are a culmination of the love, passion, and dedication of special needs advocates from across industries, explained Charmaine Daniels, CEO of the Digital Foundation. While our work has been able to create programmatic change since our inception in 2004, this act will create the opportunity for systematic change by creating regulations for the protection and upliftment of those with special needs. The JCPD, the agency which champions Jamaica's call for inclusion and accommodation of those with disabilities, cites the main objective of the Disabilities Act as encouraging all Jamaicans to recognize and accept the principle that PWDs have the same fundamental rights as other persons. Daniel continued, adding that there has been a lot of progress for the inclusion of persons with disabilities over the years. Daniels noted that the country still has more work to be done in this regard. There are a lot of injustices which go unspoken of outside of the special needs community. Schools which deny admission to students in wheelchairs on the basis that they don't have ramps to the relevant building, employers who denied qualified degree-holding persons interviews when this lists that they have a disability, and public transportation providers who charge higher fares to those with disabilities. This legislation will address those issues and give persons with special needs legal recourse when they identified an injustice, she said. The Digital Foundation also said it continues to be one of the largest donors to the special needs community, having constructed 10 special needs centers and 8 schools with the Ministry of Education and Youth Special Needs Unit to offer access to education for persons with varying special needs. It has also built over 40 ramps in traditional public schools to make education more accessible for those with physical disabilities. At the onset of COVID, the Digital Foundation stepped in as the first donor to contribute SIM-enabled tablets with data plans for special needs students. Though the Act will take effect this February, our work is not done. We want to create more employment opportunities, greater access to education, and overall, more awareness for all Jamaicans, because together we can be the change for a more inclusive society that serves the needs of persons with special needs, said Danielle, as she reflected on the success of the October conference and other programs. She went on to say, as a company, we want to be on the forefront of the inclusion, and that means continuing to evolve how we engage and interact with those persons with disabilities, especially in the workplace. One way the company does this is through the Power Internship Program, which recruits and trains persons with special needs and offers opportunity for full-time employment upon successful completion. The next one of the internship is set to launch in March. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.